Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. So today we're going to do another one from a Magic the Gathering players and from an MTG player's perspective. So we're going to cover another card game. And for those that don't know, I've already done 2 videos in this series. I've already done Hearthstone from a Magic player's perspective, and I've also done Legends of Runeterra from a Magic player's perspective. Anyway, I'll link them in a playlist, and say hello to people on Steam as well, because now I've just linked my YouTube account with my Steam account, so you'll be able to have access to my videos from Steam as well if you go to my profile on Steam. Anyway, we need to say today's featured game is going to be Eternal. So Eternal, from a Magic player's perspective, Eternal has a lot of similarities to Magic. I mean, you say it's developed by a lot of Magic people that played Magic at a high level. So the game is developed by Dire Wolf Digital. So people such as LSV and Gabby Scott thing work for Dire Wolf Digital, and they have also worked on this game. So Eternal, it's basically like Magic. A lot of the mechanics are basically the same. So the way the Magic has the land and the spells mechanic is very similar. So I'll go into some gameplay in a minute and show you a bit about it. So basically the casting cost and things are the same basically. The abilities are slightly different. Anyway, we're going to play in the ranked mode equivalent. We're going to play the wild equivalent format, or the what I called it wild format because I was just playing Hearthstone earlier today. No, it's the equivalent of say modern in Magic. It's going to be all the cards are legal. We're going to play the equivalent of the red deck wins, and we're going to see how far we go. I'll explain the similarities and differences as we go. We'll play some amount of games and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so go ranked. So it's called firing thing. I'm in bronze because I haven't played for a while. I've got as high as diamond, which is 1 in the top. Anyway, we'll play and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm just experimenting with my settings. So this is me in the bottom. This is my avatar. I've got to say it's one of the plainest looking card games. I don't think the thing is very good. Although it's got a lot of... So basically I've got equivalent of 4 land. So these are what are called power cards. Then we to play. This is like a non-basic land. We'll try that. So we've got a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a thing, and then I'll explain the differences as we go along. Okay, so this is basically how much the number in the top left-hand corner is how much it costs to cast the card. The number next to the symbol is basically like a coloured pip in Magic. So this one you have to have devotion. Basically, you have to have red 1. So basically, I play a fire sigil on my turn. It's the same as Magic. That basically this is a fast spell, so this is like an instant in Magic. So this has basically I can play it as a 2/1 now, or contract 2, which is basically like overloading Hearthstone. It denies me the mana next turn to give me this, and that puts charge on a unit, which is the same as haste. So we go. So they've just played 1. So now I have an option. I can play this if I want to and give it haste itself and attack for 5. Or I can play this with charge, so charge is haste. So this has a mechanic that basically there's some things that differentiate it from, because it's not a paper game. So this basically is one of them. So when this attacks, you play a depth charge, and basically, so I'll show you. I'm going to combat. He hasn't mana open. So this goes. So basically, so this is, at the end of the turn, if you have no cards in your hand, sack it to do 2 damage to enemy player. It will go up 2 every turn. It's called what's called a relic. There are various things that interact with relics. Okay, so this is like they've basically cast what is effectively like Thoughtseize on me. So they've taken away my 3-point damage burn spell. It's alright, it's not a problem. So now I have the option, I'll play this. I'm going to contract 2 on itself to give it self-haste effectively. Then I'm going to swing 4, 7. And then this goes up. It's going to deny me 2 mana on next turn, so I'm only going to have 2 mana available, but that's alright. They're going to have to do something soon, or they're on about hot. Okay, so that's bad for me, so they're getting -1, -4. So now I'm going to play this. If I have 3, which is basically what this is, I can basically decimate this, which I play and decimate. So it basically gets rid of 1 of my maximum power, and then gives me a 3/2 elemental. This has Overwhelm, which is the trample equivalent. So he chose to do that as a sorcery rather than an instant. I mean, generally the people in this game are reasonably good, but like I've played against one in world equivalent. This hand isn't looking so good now. Anyway, the aim is to try and get rid of the cards in my hand. That will draw them forward.
Now it's my
This
turn.
is bad. So this is basically deadly is death touch. Life steal is basically lifelink, and nothing can have Aegis. Aegis is a thing that prevents a one-time effect in it. So summon, basically, when this is summoned, I could have sacked a unit or give it +2/+2 and deadly. And since I didn't have a unit, I had to basically it's a 5/5. So I'm going to play this and try and get rid of my hand. So this is quick draw. So quick draw is like first strike.
Feed them to the dogs.
And Valor is where so Valor. I won't. So also I've got to say there's no deck tracker for this game. It's one of the worst things.
The touch of
Yeah, so he's just done it once. It doesn't look like I'm winning this.
You buying or not?
Alright, so these are basically markets. They're basically like a sideboard in Magic. You basically don't have access to them unless you have what are called the merchants. They give you access to market. I don't mind playing with a selection of like wish targets in the game. I'm probably not winning this game. I'm totally flooded now. Oh, a deck is, I believe it's 75 cards in your deck as opposed to Magic, which is the 60.
A visitor.
Yeah, this is looking very one-sided. So he's basically played Dr. Zitron. This basically summons a unit with 5 or less from the graveyard. He gains charge and flying. And it basically sacrificed at the end of the turn. I certainly can't win this. I'll play it out for the sake of it. Anyway, Eternal has a different world setting to Magic anyway. It's got some aspects. It's a fantasy world. And the person basically just thanked me, but I couldn't get to the emote quick enough. Right. It's basically in a fantasy world, but it's got some dissimilarities to Magic. Anyway, we'll go for a bit about the colours. Basically, so we've got various different the colours equivalent. So there's Fire, which is like mono red equivalent. We've got Shadow, which is the mono black equivalent. Then we've got Justice. Justice is like, it's kind of hard to say. It's got similar aspects to green in some ways, where it's got a lot of large creatures, and then it has similar aspects to white in ways. It's kind of like those two combined because it has like various large things. It's got a lot of flyers as well, and it has some removal in that. Then we've got Time. I'm just scrolling through them. So Time is like there's also some very large things in Time. It's also got ramp aspects in it as well. Then we've got Blue, which is the primal equivalent. So this is primal. So it's like the I would say it's like the blue equivalent anyway. What else? Shadow, Justice. Anyway, they're five main colours. That's just a selection of my decks. I mean, you say we're going to play the same one again just to explain the basics. Anyway, there's also the standard mode available in this. There's also draft. The draft mode's very good. Works perfectly solidly. So the mulligan rule is the same as Magic, basically. You've got your 7 cards. If you don't like it, you can ship them back. But the difference is in this game, you have to keep your second hand. Your second hand will be different because they can... Basically, you get minimum of X mana in your second hand. That hand's okay. We're going to explain some of the new cards anyway. This has a different mechanic on it. I'll explain them as we go along. You've seen these guys already. This has flying, equivalent, same as Magic. Berserk is when this attacks, you can give it Reckless, which means it has to attack each turn. To attack a second time, that can only be done once. I'll play this because we have a card in deck called Jet that likes the basic fire sigils, and there's more advantage of keeping these ones in case we draw Jet. So this is basically looking like quintessentially a mirror match, and I don't like mirror matches. I don't like them in Magic, don't like them in most CCGs. Anyway, we're going to play this guy. So when he plunders, so plunder is basically mechanics. So basically I can transform one of the cards into my hand. I can either if you do it on a resource, it will become a thing, and then I'm going to do it on the... I'm actually not going to do it. I don't even think I need the resource. I'll keep it as is because my hand's okay. This does look like a budget, well, not necessarily a budget deck, but it doesn't look. So this has got. I'm going to play and decimate it. I'm going to shoot this. I'm going to give this reckless to attack. So it's going to attack twice. So it's, but essentially it's got doubles. It's more like a double striker. Yeah. In addition to these, the main constructed modes, there's also some storyline content, which is quite good. I wish Magic would do some story content, having a bit of a thing with some additional content. I'm just going to play this. Looking like this game's over anyway. Anyway, you can play red deck wins essentially in nearly all thing. So that's a very good card. That needs dealing with quite soon, or like thing. It's alright, it's going to wander into that. I mean, I'm not that. Let's see what I can do. I mean, that's perfectly fine. I can just attack. I'll see what they do. So this is when it hits the enemy player, reduce the cost of the top card of your deck by 4. So that could be. It's a large mana ramp. And it's on a 5/4 flyer. I assume that's what they're going to do. Okay, so we'll do that. I'm going to play this Siege Train. So this basically, when it comes in, you can choose a thing. Every time it attacks, you get a trigger. And then when it dies, you get to do the thing. So I'm going to shoot things for 2, basically, when it attacks. It has Overwhelm and Reckless. So Overwhelm is Trample Reckless. It has to attack each turn. So it's essentially Goad, or Goad of sorts. Not really. Yeah, anyway, Eternals really is a good game. It's similar to Magic in a lot of ways. I would say if you're a Magic player, you could probably do quite well at it. I think it's so much more free to play than Arena. For every 3 games you play, you get like a reward, and sometimes they upgrade, so you can get up to quintessentially. Okay, so that... I don't understand why they did that. They basically made this... Oh, they basically can have this available as a blocker. Anyway. I think I'm just going to summon some large creatures. I'm going to play the thing with Overwhelm, because I just want to get... I can't see how they're going to get out of this one. Because I'm going to attack. They're going to take, like, probably 8 at least. This has got a trample. If they block on this, they're going to take 5 over. Anyway, that's that game. Right, we'll carry on. Actually, well, what we're going to do, we're going to say after now, we're going to show you a bit more. But so this is my first win of the day. So the first win of the day gets you a booster from the latest set. So this is from whatever. I'll show you in a minute. So for every 3 wins, you get a chest which has certain things in it. First win of the day gets you a booster. Let's open a pack. So this is from Behemoths of Terror. So it's basically quintessentially like a dinosaur theme set, which loads of things. I mean, Caverns of Ixalan's coming up, so everything. So this is basically going to be a rare. So this is Nightfall. Oh, that's like an armadillo thing. That's really cool artwork. It's got an anteater on it. That's really cool. So summon Nightfall. Nightfall is basically like it's kind of it's sort of like day and night in Magic. But like when you start a turn at night, you draw an additional card and take 1 damage. And the first Nightfall card played in the turn makes it night and extends it each turn for each player. Because if not, it goes back to daytime essentially. Anyway, that's the thing. And basically, they released the sets as you are. You can get boxes of them. Well, my friend's just playing Mini Masters, so I won't be playing today. But that's my most played game on Steam if people want to check out Mini Masters. And I have done some other videos on it. Anyway, let's show you... what was I going to show you in between? Yeah, I was going to show you my deck list. Okay, so I'll go to my... I have to go to my profile. No, Behemoths of Terror is the most recent set. Sorry about that. It's in ranked. Edit deck, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so now, so a deck in Eternal is made up of 75 cards. Well, 75 card main deck, and then you can have up to a market, which is some additional cards when you have the thing. So basically, the thing to start with is they've basically got the sigils. Sigils are the equivalent of land, but basically some of them, you have these ones, which are the basic ones, and then you have some non-basic ones. So I've got 21 fire sigils, and 4 Emblem of Shakavar, which are like a thing. So they basically gain you a fire and deal you 1 damage. But decimate means if you have free fire available, and you basically reduce your maximum power by 1, you basically create and draw a 3/2 Ash Elemental with Overwhelm. So it's a 3/2 Trampler for like thing, and it's on a land. So basically, if you end up flooding, it's very versatile. So this is Battlefront Dancer. It's a 2/1 for 1, which is like a relatively good stat line. Well, it's the same stat line as a Ragavan, for instance. But it's nowhere near as Ragavan. It's still a good card. But it has Contract 2, which is give a unit +1/+1 and charge. So charge is the equivalent of haste in Magic. And it gives you debt 2, which means your available power is spent to pay off debt. If you can't pay it all, pay at the start of the next turn. So it basically means it's kind of like Overload in Hearthstone. It basically gives you versatility, as it enables you to take it in advance basically and pay the get in the next turn. So we've got fast spells. These are instant equivalent in Magic. They are sorcery equivalents as well, but they're not any in this deck, I don't think. So it's Char, not to be confused with Char, the Magic card that does 4 damage. So this is 2 damage to an enemy. So we've got Oni Ronin. So there are various different tribes in this game. So Oni are like one in this thing. So they go over the thing. There's some are available in this, and there's some in Justice as well. So this is Oni. So this is Warcry. So this isn't really like a Magic mechanic. This is for a digital game only. So it's when this attacks the top unit or weapon of your deck gets +1/+1. Weapons are like, they're similar to Magic. They're none in this deck though. If my opponent plays any in the next game, I'll explain them if I need to. So this is Pyro Knight. Most of the cards in this deck are 4 of, so I've dropped this one down to 3. So this is a 2/1 for 1. And then it has Ultimate, which is pay 5 to give Pyro Knight +4/+4. That's basically as an instant equivalent. Basically, it can only be used once. So then we've got D'Angelo Houndmaster. So it's a 2/1 for 2. It has Quick Draw. So this is basically first strike, but it's only when it's attacking. It's not when it's defending, which is similar to the Runeterra thing, which is similar, but basically first strike in Magic functions either way around. So Valor is so this unit gets +1/+1 for each unit that blocks it. So it's got, I think it's effectively Rampage. It's got Rampage 1 in it, equivalent in Magic. So then when you attack with exactly 2 units, you may pay power equal to the number of cards in your hand to put a 4/1 Magma Hound that is attacking. So as the thing shows, the Magma Hound would normally be a 5 casting cost, 4/1 with charge, which isn't fantastic, but generally you're paying 0 for this. And if you have multiple copies in play, as you can see, oh yeah, I can explain the templating on the card. So you've got green is common. Oh, sorry, no, green is uncommon. Grey is common. Blue is rare, and they go up to legendary and stuff. I'll show you them in a minute. There's some in the deck in a minute. So this is League Explorers. So this is a 2/2 charge for 2, and it's when it attacks, play a depth charge. If you already have 1, it increases its damage by 2. So basically, a depth charge is a relic, which effectively is at the end of the turn. If you have no cards in hand, you sack it to deal 2 damage to enemy player. It's worth bearing in mind that's 2 damage to enemy player for each charge counter on it. So basically, if you've got this with like 4 counters on it, it's going to do them 4, for instance. I mean, then we've got Passionate Stonehammer. So it's 2/1 for 2. It's got Flying Berserk, Reckless, and Plunder. So Plunder, maybe it didn't explain that very well because I was in the middle of the game. Anyway, Plunder is you may transform a power card in your hand into a treasure trove or a non-power card into a sigil. So it's a bit like fixing your land, and if you flood, it gives you basically a treasure trove is let's see. Not sure some of the thing for this. How you can click. No, I'm not. Basically, it's a 2 casting cost thing. It's as a sorcery in Magic, 2 mana draw card. Then we've got Seer, which is basically it's free damage, instant, fast speed, and there's 4 copies of it. Okay, so this is Jet. So this is one of the best cards in the deck. So this is basically he's a legendary as well. So he's got the yellow symbol in it. But you can have multiple copies in play. It's legendary rarity. You can have multiple copies in play. It's not a problem. So Jet is basically a kind of a thing that's also got a hero subtype. There are various things that interact with the hero type in the middle. It's basically, do you feel this interface is clearer than the Magic one and the card templating and stuff? There's some of the things that are better about this game. Anyway, it's when it's free it's free fire for a 2/3. But it might as well cost more because when Jet hits the enemy player, create and draw a treasure trove, which I explained treasure trove earlier. It's basically just like colours draw card. It's quite useful across most of the things. He's basically like a gunslinger as well, which is like they've got that like the Fallout-ish set and that coming as well as the actual Magic set, mainline set that's going to be in like kind of a dystopian world, which I'm in some ways I'm quite looking forward to it. Anyway, so its summon abilities: you may pay 1 and discard a card to do 2 damage to 2 enemies. You get to choose the targets, and Jet gets double damage if it's a sigil. So it may as well cost 4 mana basically, and then if you discard a sigil, you can shoot 2 things for 4. So it's quite good, and it also gets rid of cards in your hand, which is also good for the depth charges. Okay, this is Milos Rebel Bomber. It basically is copying a mechanic from Hearthstone. For those that didn't know Hearthstone was one of the first digital CCGs to incorporate some of these kind of aspects that you could only get in a digital game. It copies the mechanic from Bomb Warrior, effectively. So it's a 3 mana 3/3 with charge, and it's when it hits the enemy player, put a firebomb in their deck, which is it basically deals them 5 damage when they draw it. Basically, so it adds some randomness to the game, and there's no deck tracker to tell them how many bombs they have on it in their deck. But the more times it is a 3/3 haste for free, and it sometimes may deal them 5 damage when they draw a bomb. This also has another mechanic though. It's when the enemy player gains health, it gains that much health and power, so it basically just grows. And there are various cards in the game that gain life. Xenon, which is the equivalent of black-white in Magic. Yeah, the guilds in this game have different names as well. I might go a bit more into detail of those. Gain life. So this is pretty good against them. Anyway, this is basically a main deck. I play Pillage. It's nothing like the Magic card, the land destroying spell. This is Pillage. It deals 3 damage to an enemy. Pillage deals double damage to endurance with units with endurance or lifesteal. So endurance doesn't tap to attack. Lifesteal is like lifelink. Prism Golem. This is a 3 mana 7/7, but it gets -2/-2 for each type of influence you have. So it's going to be a 5/5 for 3 in this deck. It also sees play in the colourless decks because they have ways to generate completely colourless influence. So it's a 7/7 for 3 in that kind of deck. And then the last unit we have is Siege Train. So it's a 6/4 Overwhelm and Reckless for 4. So some of these cards look quite large compared to the average stat line in Magic. Anyway, so when it comes into play, you secretly choose Drifter, which is a 2/1 for 1. Piercing Shot, which is 2 mana, deal 2 damage to an enemy unit and 2 damage to an enemy player. They have to have legal targets for that. Or Ember Fury Blade, which is 3 mana, +3/+3 equipment, effectively. And you play a copy of that card for each time a Siege Train attacks. You don't have to play the copy. But with Piercing Shot, for instance, you will need a legal target. And Ember Fury Blade, if you don't have anything to equip them with, they will go. Anyway, we'll go back into small gameplay and we'll see how it does. Anyway, I had to adjust all my Streamlabs settings today. Anyway, I think we're back there. Let's see how it goes. Anyway, I may play another deck as well. Anyway, we'll try and do a couple more things. Anyway, I aim to make this a series anyway. That's like a mulligan for 7 back. Unfortunately, you're stuck with your second hand. It won't let you mulligan again, I believe. Oh no, it will let you mulligan again. Yeah, I think that's probably right. I'll keep that. Be good. So we're playing against Xenon now, which is Time Shadow equip, which is black-white equipment. These are quite good against them, so I'll keep the Pillage.
Soon.
Yeah, so I want to try and get to Milos as soon as possible.
The sea holds the key.
In theory, I don't think this matchup is amazing because, but like it's in like Magic, they like bad matchups and good matchups, and it's like they've got quite a lot of life gain. But then again, this is so low rank, it may not actually think this is quite good against them. If I can get Milos on the board, basically... Alright, so they're silencing my unit, which is a similar thing. So basically it stops all the abilities on it, which is like so. That's pretty good. It's not bad. I'm just going to be attacking them for 2.
Hammer it out.
I'll turn that into a resource. I don't feel that I want it. Anyway, the aim is to try and get to Milos, so this card is also really good against them. They're just going to keep silencing my units, that's alright. I mean, I don't... Oh, this has Destiny, so Destiny, I think it shuffles it back. They're also playing 122 cards, which obviously means they, as we know, the experienced players know, the bigger your deck, the less chance you have for drawing all the cards. Unless you're playing things like Battle of Wits and stuff like that that require it. I'm racing them at the moment. Yeah. They're just gaining life, effectively. I can play this.
Feed them to the dogs.
Mate, they made the decision. I don't mind putting my unit in the bin, they're going to take 4. If they don't play anything else, I'm tempted to use the pillage to get rid of this, because they don't seem to be doing anything. Alright, they killed my thing. I don't feel they're doing anything, I'll just get rid of it and get on with it. If I have one less card, I'd be able to play the dog attacking. Anyway, I would recommend Eternals to say it's a good game. Is it drastically different to Magic? Not really, but like, it's good. It's very free to play. I may show you the draft mode at some point as well.
Hammer it out.
I'm going to turn that into the resource. I'm then going to play this to draw a card. And then I'm going to pay 1 to put the dog attacking, so they can take. They can have mass board clear though, but then again, they never know. They're going to have to take. There's going to be a full power.
Let the ritual commence.
I feel they're just gone. I don't think there's much I can do wrong. I can basically. So does this have a thing? It's life force, so I can just attack all out. It's better than single attacking. I'll attack again with that. Oh, the dogs stay around for the thing. They're not until end of turn. Yeah, and I got that game. Right. When we say what game are we going to cover next on this series, I don't know. I'm into a couple of minds about that. I've already done Hearthstone and Runeterra. I was tempted to investigate Law Corner. There's apparently is a digital client, although not official, so I might look into that. And we also, and then I may have ones there's stuff like Pokemon TCG and stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh, and there's even stuff like Shadowverse and various other things. So I'm going to do one more game of this, and then we'll see how it goes. Right, I'm going to redraw that. That hand's pony. That hand looks fine. Anyway. Red deck wins, not a hard deck to play, people. You say you can play it in all TCGs or equivalent of. It generally wins when people get stuck on lands. Play against Xenon again. Alright, let's play the Warcry guy, because I can always play 2 of these next turn if I want to. Probably not 2 of them, because it has the contract bit. People at this kind of rank don't play their spells at the last minute. The priority system is the same as Magic, that you just pass. Although there's auto pass set up as default, so we won't necessarily get into the thing if it's telling me whether they've got a trick or not, because they have auto pass set up as default. If they have nothing. So this one is basically a relic. At the end of the turn, if you gain health, play a 2/2B with flying, which is like an insect. So yeah, that sounds like it's okay, but like I'd like want to try and get Milos again, because Milos is really good against the life gain. I've got like 4 copies of various things. Anyway, the 2/2B is not bad for free, but like if you're paying for it, it's not great. Alright, let's see how it goes. It's looking alright. Anyway, I lost one game. Okay, so that's basically means they're going to gain at the end of the turn, I think.
Praise the 100-legged one.
I don't know what that card does. Alright, so that's very, very good. That probably wins me the game outright, I would think. So I'll play that. Then we play Jet.
Whatever you need.
I'll shoot this and then shoot the 2 thick blockers down, so that's 4 damage to both of them because it's double damage. And then this enables me to get in for lots. This basically now has double damage as well, which is like double strike. And then basically next turn I'm looking at probably being able to empty my hand, and if they don't have something to deal with it, they're probably just going to lose. Alright. I might show you a bit about the storyline mode in the game and a bit about how the card crafting and that works. Okay, so now this is worth explaining. So this is like a weapon. So these weapons go on a hero. Basically, it enables you to attack the creatures directly, unlike certain other games, which it's kind of like a weapon in Hearthstone, but like you're limited by the fact if you take damage where you have the weapon equipped. They've obviously got something because I've tried to shoot their creature. I'll see what they do now. Oh, relic weapons are the ones that go onto the hero. I think they have something because they've no thing. Anyway, I'm going to attack with these two and see what they do. I assume they've got a removal stone. Kill one. I'm going to use this to draw a card. They've obviously got something because they keep pausing. Right, so I know I can empty my hand next turn regardless, I think, unless I... Yeah, even if I draw Jet, I think. So that means... Alright, so I can just empty my hand. And that's the game, basically. Right, I'm going to show you a little bit more about the rest of the thing, because I'm going to show you how they do various things. So we've basically got our 3 wins, which were 3 out of the 4 games we played. So these are the chests. Didn't get an upgrade in that time. Anyway, get something every 3. Sometimes they upgrade. So these are the bog standard chests. They go from these up to... There's another one up from this. And these top ones have boosters in. Anyway, we've shown you a booster. Right, let's go back to the thing and I'll show you a bit about it. So you've got the events ones, which are basically in this game you can have... These are basically like sealed deck events in Magic. These last a month. And they cost either this amount of gold, which I've got all this gold saved. I haven't used it for a while. And all this amount of gems, which are the premium currency. Anyway, it's like a sealed deck league. I haven't tried one of those before, but like if you're into sealed, I can probably think you'll probably like that. Casual, which is unranked. We've got ranked. We've got draft, which is like draft. It's basically like MTG draft, pretty much the same thing. Other than there probably not as much people that play this game, and if they've started this one and haven't played Magic, they're probably at a distinct disadvantage. I remember my first draft, I think I won on my first attempt. Okay, so we've got various different solo options. So we've got campaign. I'd just like to show you these. So they're basically various different campaigns. So when they came out, some of these were paid campaigns. And they came with, they're basically like some storyline content with some cards. So you get a little storyline mode. And you got some various fixed cards as well. And you get a campaign and some stories. So there were so many of those. Those are the ones that you came out when the game. And now, you have some basic chapters, which they release every month. Right, so these are basically a load of chapters. And there we go. And these are all the chapters that come out every month. And then you say, oh, have they changed how they work? I'm not sure if they've changed how they work and are they paid or not. I'm not sure. It says something like purchase. I'm not sure how they work anymore. Because these ones have got purchase. I've no idea what that is anyway. I haven't played those for a while. Anyway, you've got Gauntlet, which is to say, so if you basically don't have... which you can play against the computer. And you can also draft against the computer. So if you haven't tried draft mode before... You can play simulated drafts against the computer and go up a gauntlet. And Forge is like playing the same kind of thing, but you're using a pre-constructed deck against the computer. And then you have puzzles, which are like which explain the mechanics of the game. They're a bit like the puzzles in the old Scry or Inquest, or those kind of old style of magazines, if people remember those, and they explain a bit more about the mechanics of the game in addition to the tutorial. Anyway, that's Eternal in a nutshell. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and if you say those of you who haven't seen the channel before, my name is Matthew. I also do a lot of MTG content and various other video game content. Check me out on YouTube. And now also you can check me out on Steam. I'm also linking these videos on Steam now as well. Anyway, so hopefully you're enjoying yourself. Hopefully you'll try out some of the games we feature in these from an MTG player's perspective. And it looks like the software's working now and it hasn't crashed. So I'll be uploading this shortly. Anyway, thanks very much. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thanks very much. Bye.